And just like that, it's the final week of the 23-24 championship season. A few I's to dot and T's to cross at the top of the table, but we can talk about this crazy relegation battle. The battle to survive in the championship in 23-24 has been crazy. I've got a theory as to why, which I'll share with you in a little bit, but we know Rotherham are down. We've known it for a long while. We know Millwall was safe last week. We now know QPR and Stoke are safe. We know with 99% certainty that Huddersfield are down. If Huddersfield survive with a 15-goal swing and a few results going in their favour, I will eat this remote control live on YouTube. And you can donate to charity as I do that. Huddersfield are going to be in League One next season with 99.99% certainty, which leaves us Blackburn, Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth and Birmingham. First of all, let me just give you my theory as to why I can't come on here like I do most seasons and say 45 to survive, score 1 point per game, and you're going to be safe in the championship. No, not the case this season. Look at it, for God's sake. Birmingham are already above that on 47, and they are set to go down as we go into the final round of the season. And you can see Wednesday, Blackburn, 50 points plus in 20th place is higher than normal. I think the reason is because managerial changes have actually worked this season, haven't they? Often we get teams who look doomed. I'm looking at you, QPR and Sheffield Wednesday in November. They're done. We get the owners. They change the manager ahead of the transfer window. It doesn't work, does it? New manager brings in a load of players. Nothing happens. The results stay exactly where they were. Those teams drop with, 38 to 43 points or something on the board. Down, down, down they go. But what has pushed the totals this season is managerial changes actually working. Over the long term, Cifuentes and Roll, as I say, QPR on Wednesday, look doomed, dead, down to League One. But no, those two managers have done great jobs to take them up to 53 and 50 points outstanding by both Roll and Cifuentes. And at Millwall and Stoke, you got to say Harris and Schumacher have done their jobs. Those managerial changes have worked. It's a bit different there in respects of you probably had underachieving, underperforming clubs that needed to regress to the mean. But that's not Neil Harris's fault. That's not Stephen Schumacher's fault. Great jobs. Well done. That, I think, is why we've got an unfeasibly high total needed and why Plymouth, for example, could, for God's sake, Plymouth could score a point and go down on 49, couldn't they, this weekend? Birmingham could win and go down on 50 this weekend. Let's look at the permutations. Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday, Blackburn particularly do look like they're safe. And yes, I'll acknowledge I did have a bit of fun on the 1 to 24s. I looked at the fixture difficulty with Blackburn and I actually predicted them to be one of the three that dropped because I thought they could go on a gnarly run. They have gone on a gnarly run, but they look like they've done just enough. It was that win at Elland Road, wasn't it? That's probably going to make all the difference. But let's be honest, you get 50 points and you've got the league's top scorer in Sammy Smudic, who should stay up. But Blackburn could drop. It's unlikely. Look, every result would need to go against Blackburn. Blackburn would need to lose to Leicester. Sheffield Wednesday would need to get something against Wednesday. Have got Sunderland away, Lots of games to think about. Plymouth would need to beat Hull. Birmingham would need to beat Norwich. If one of those teams loses, Blackburn are safe. Blackburn would need three teams to all go above them to drop them into 22nd. So it looks like Blackburn are safe unless we get the most unlucky, horrible set of results for Blackburn. And let's say it from their point of view, Blackburn score a point. They are guaranteed to be safe. Sheffield Wednesday are in the same position, but their goal difference makes things a little bit different, doesn't it? Because we don't have the scenario with Blackburn that we do. Yes, we do, to be fair, because we could have a Blackburn defeat and a Birmingham win would switch Birmingham above Blackburn. That could be tight. So I will change my tune on that. What I will say about Sheffield Wednesday's goal difference is in any situation where anything is even, Wednesday are losing on goal difference. But let me say it again. If Wednesday score a point, they are safe. aren't they? That would take them to 51. Birmingham can only get 50. And they go to Sunderland, who look like they are fizzled out, tapped out, finished many months ago by the look of it. So Wednesday could drop, couldn't they? The scenario for Wednesday is a little less fiddly than it is for Blackburn. You would need a Plymouth win against Hull, and you would need a Birmingham win against Norwich. The goal difference would help Birmingham in that regard. You would also need Sheffield Wednesday to lose their game. Again, you do get into the weeds, because if that happened, then Blackburn are in trouble. But again, Blackburn's safety is probably based on the fact that Sheffield Wednesday are just not going to alter a 10-goal kind of swing if Wednesday do lose. So that's the kind of state of play, which does make you think it's unlikely for Blackburn and Wednesday to go, especially Blackburn, but stranger things have happened. Right, which then leaves us with Plymouth and Birmingham, 47 and 48 points. Again, goal difference could be key. Plymouth have a 4-goal advantage there. So let's play through some scenarios then, because I suppose the big issue here is both sides are playing at home against sides that are looking at the playoffs, aren't they? Birmingham are at home to Norwich, who are in 5th and look very, very likely to be in the playoffs because of the Hull goal difference swing that would be needed. So Norwich look pretty much there, don't they? West Brom could drop out of the playoffs with a Hull win. But what we do know with Hull is they really need to go to Plymouth and win on the final day to put the pressure on West Brom, who play Preston. If you're a Plymouth fan, the thing you want to see, it's not 3 o'clock, is it? They're 12:30 kickoffs. The thing you want to see on Saturday is West Brom score 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, which would pretty much knock Hull's playoff hopes into touch within the first 5 minutes of the game. What I will say, though, is on these final days, it does seem like crazy things are going to happen, particularly in the first half hour. Things tend to level themselves out in the second half. I don't want to be a boring curmudgeon. I speak from experience, but you're kind of playing out in your head, right? Oh, this could happen, that could happen, switch. It does tend to even itself out when the games have played out 60, 70, 80 minutes going into the sort of final throes of the season and the final 10 minutes. So, Birmingham and Plymouth. Birmingham have the onus on them, don't they? They have to get something against Norwich. Basically, if Birmingham lose, all bets are off. They are relegated. Plymouth, Wednesday and Blackburn, doesn't matter. They could all lose 10-0 and they are staying up if Birmingham lose to Norwich. If Birmingham get a point, then it's game on, isn't it? Because they would tie on 48 points and then we're into goal difference, aren't we? So if Birmingham were to draw and Plymouth, they would have to lose by 5 goals, wouldn't they? Looking at the goals scored, a 4-goal defeat would take it to minus 16 apiece, assuming that Birmingham have drawn. But look at the goals scored, it would need to be a 5-goal defeat. So what you're immediately concluding is a Birmingham draw, unless Hull are going to batter Plymouth beyond belief. And sorry, Argyle fans, to bring it up. I do remember Plymouth needed something on the last day of the season against MK Dons a couple of years back. And they lost 5-0. I think Scott Twine scored 4, didn't he? And a couple of free kicks as well. It could happen. It's unlikely. What we're saying is for anything to happen, Birmingham need to beat Norwich, don't they? And for the cat to be thrown amongst the pigeons, you probably want, if you're a Birmingham fan, Norwich to accept that they're probably in the playoffs, stick their reserves out, and for Birmingham to bang 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. And it's like, okay, away we go. That is going to put the pressure on some of the other teams. If we do get the Birmingham win, or we get Birmingham in front early in the game, especially by 2 goals, then it starts to get very interesting, because that would actually not only move them above Plymouth, it moved them above Sheffield Wednesday as well, if Wednesday went behind at any point against Sunderland. But look, unlikely things do happen. How likely is it that Birmingham are going to beat Norwich? Play this out. Play this out. Is David Wagner really going to show up and throw the towel in terms of, Hull have got 7 goals to make up. Norwich are pretty much in the playoffs. The other thing for Norwich as well is, do they want to avoid 3rd place? Potentially. I'm sure Norwich wouldn't be that scared of Ipswich, to be honest, if Norwich did drop to 6th on that final day. But Norwich have lost twice to Leeds this season. You do not, and managed by Norwich's former manager, Daniel Farker, as well. Surely, if you're Norwich, you want to show up to Birmingham and get at least something. But then if West Brom beat Preston, you need the win to guarantee 5th spot, where you would play Southampton, who are bang out of form, and we know you can score against. I know you can score against Ipswich as well, but that could potentially be Leeds. And I don't know, the way I'm feeling at the moment, you do not want Leeds in the playoffs, do you? So, does David Wagner roll out the red carpet for Birmingham? No, absolutely not. What that means is Birmingham have a damn hard game against Norwich, which they have to win. So, look, I know this is very, very easy to do. You can take the team that's in the best position and the team that's in the worst position and say, well, Blackburn are very unlikely to go down and Birmingham are very unlikely to stay up. That's too easy, isn't it? I do, though, think this is between Birmingham and Plymouth. Could I see a scenario where Blackburn or Wednesday drop? I'm not sure I could. But again, I'll happily come on here and say, wow, that was an amazing final day. Plymouth beat Hull, Birmingham beat Norwich. And out of nowhere, one of Wednesday drew against Sunderland, and Blackburn, all of a sudden, they dropped from 19th to 22nd on the final day. It's far-fetched. It could happen. I happen to think this is between Birmingham and Plymouth. Could I see Birmingham with a full St Andrews get something against Norwich? Yes. The problem is, can I see them beating Norwich? I don't know. What I'm concluding here is Birmingham are banging trouble here if Norwich have that mindset I'm saying of, I don't really want to play Leeds in the playoffs. I really need to go there and defeat Birmingham to guarantee 5th place to set up a playoff semi against Southampton. I don't know. And we've already established a draw isn't a lot of good for Birmingham, is it? We could have a draw for Birmingham, which then means Sheffield Wednesday and Blackburn are safe. And Plymouth would then need to lose by 5 against Hull. There we go. I've rattled through a ton of permutations. I've given you a theory why it's higher than normal. Let's be honest. If Birmingham City do go down, we don't need to theorise why that has happened. It would be one of the most incompetent ownership runs ever, really, in terms of having a really good summer transfer window, decent start to the season. Sack manager number 1, sack manager number 2. Okay, manager number 3 becomes unwell, and you're on your 4th manager of the season. We normally say 3 doesn't smell good, 4 smells awful. So I'm already getting it. And with Plymouth, well, if Plymouth were to drop, could you say the disruption of Schumacher leaving in December? Could you say just regression to the mean? Punched above their weight, maybe, to win the League One title in magnificent fashion last season. And, this is where they were going to end up. I don't know. I personally like Plymouth being in the Championship. I like the diversity of not having them for a while and having a team in that part of the world in the league. But would you just say size and a bit of chaos with the manager going? I don't know. You tell me in the comments. I'm already giving you the whys and wherefores. If anyone did drop, we don't know who's going to drop. So give me your theories in the comments. Let me know. Could it be Blackburn? That incredible. All of the results go against Blackburn and they drop. Could it be Sheffield Wednesday, where we need 2 results to go against Wednesday and for Wednesday to lose? So 3 of the 4. Could it be Plymouth, where essentially it needs to be Plymouth lose and Birmingham win? I don't think a draw is going to work unless Plymouth get absolutely battered. And the most likely scenario is that Birmingham don't get the win they need against Norwich. Let's be fair. There's lots of sets of fans, good people, terribly nervous about this. And it's very flippant of me to say, oh, for the neutral, we love the carnage, we love the chaos for the entertainment. Take that out of the fact that I'm trying to be a nice, empathetic person. But what turns this on immediately is goals flying in early in the games for Birmingham and maybe for Sunderland against Sheffield Wednesday and for Leicester against Blackburn. And then we'll get some chaos on the final day. But as I say, it often writes itself out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who is going down? We can do the post-mortem afterwards. And do you agree with my theory that managerial changes actually working this season is the reason why we have the most crazy championship survival race in years at the bottom of the table?